Mute. Share screen. All right. And oh, this one. Participants. All right, we'll see if anybody shows up. All right. Anyway. There's one lockpicking thing. Let's see if I have a video. Oh, there's a homework which has videos in it. There we go. All right. So, there it is. Good. All right. All right. Good. Well, I think it is time to get going. All right. All right. So let me. So I just want to. I don't need to say anything more about Android stuff. I want to move on to picking locks. That's a good thing to do the first night. This is an extra credit project. I checked, and it's legal to pick locks. It's legal to own lockpicks in California as long as you don't have criminal intent. So I've got a bucket of locks and picks here, and I just want to show you. This is the way all ethical hacking goes. People are doing something, they think it is secure, and it's not. And the only thing that causes them to realize that they have to improve the security measure is ethical hackers humiliate them until they improve it. There was a huge hacking culture in the 1840s around lockpicking and locks in America, and by 1850, Congress stepped in and made it illegal to pick locks, so locks stopped improving. So the lock on your front door was designed in 1850 and never improved, which is what happens when you outlaw penetration tests, and therefore it is complete garbage. You cannot sell these locks in Germany. No one there is stupid enough to use them. The locks Americans use are ridiculous, and as you will see tonight, a person who has never tried to do it in their life can learn to pick these locks in half an hour, and they can pick the lock on your front door. So that's what we're going to do. It's an extra credit project here. Here's the so-called required projects, and here's a lot of extra credit projects. And this one here is there, and I bring it up here because I stuck a video here so you can see the basics of how to pick locks. And I'm just going to find like a diagram of what's inside a lock here. There we are. That's what I wanted to find. Okay. This is how locks work. Let me run it and stop it. Okay, so I wonder if I can somehow make it stop putting junk on it. The X, good. All right, so here's what's inside a lock. You have 2 pins and a spring in each of these holes. And a typical home lock has 5 pins. And there's 2 pins of different lengths. So what happens is if there's no key in there, it springs down to here, and the pins are cutting across the shear line, so the lock will not turn. You have to put in a key which lifts each one of these to just the right height. And I think that's what you'll see here. And I have a transparent lock that will show it to you. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there's an example of a transparent lock. I've got one of them. And hopefully it will show you. Yes. There, that's what I wanted to see. That's what happens when you put in the right key. Each one of these is lifted to just the right height so that it hits the shear line, and now the lock will turn. And this is how it works, and in principle, it's fine. The problem is locks are cheap. In order for Home Depot to sell you this lock for 11 bucks, they had to manufacture it for 50 cents. And so these are made of the cheapest pot metal with the cheapest process, which is inaccurate, so the pins are not quite the right size, and the holes don't perfectly match, so they're sort of crooked and loose. So you don't really have to hit the right height very exactly. So all you really have to do is stick in a bent wire and jiggle it until you move them around randomly until they happen to hit the right spot, and then it will open. And that's what lockpick guns do. Now, if you are a little more classy than that, you do it in a more controlled way. You reach in with a tension tool and turn the lock just a little bit so it's trying to turn, and then you lift the pins one by one with a little pick until and it turns out because they're not all perfectly aligned, one of them catches first. So in fact, it's not true that 5 pins are stopping it from turning. There's really only 1 pin stopping it from turning, the one that catches first. And when you lift that one to the right height, it turns a little bit, and that one's stuck. And then you pick the remainder until the next one's stuck. And once you're good with your fingers, if you're dexterous, you can feel what you're doing and pick locks very efficiently. But if you're a slob, you can just reach in with a rake, just a bent, jagged piece of metal, and just jiggle it around for a few minutes, and you'll get lucky. And that's good enough for your home front door key. And so there are various levels of lock picking. And so I have a series. The reason why I can teach this now is because I went to the hacking conventions where they always have a lockpick village, and they taught me how to teach lockpicking. If you start with a 5-pin lock, it's very frustrating, and you will just give up. So what I did was I gave my locks a root canal. I took apart the locks and threw away some of the pins. So I got locks that are white that only have 1 pin. And then ones with 2 pins, 3 pins, 4 pins, and 5 pins, and that's how you learn. You start with an easy lock until you get the hang of it, and then you progress. So you get 5 points for each level. You go up here. So I haven't got enough picks for everybody, but I've got a lot of picks and a lot of locks. And by starting with a few people and having them pass it on to more people, you can all do it. And typically, in about a half hour, 45 minutes, everybody's picked some of the locks, and almost everybody has picked the black lock, which is the full unaltered 5-pin lock. So let me just set them up here, and we'll start doing it. I'm going to cancel this session because it's no longer really serving any purpose. Let's see if I can figure out how to stop it. Stop here, and stop here, and stop here.